Welcome to the Real Mama Pod.
I'm your host, Devon.
And I'm your host, Kendra.
We are real moms.
Sharing real experiences. The things people don't tell you. Mama, hey.
Hey, mama, hey.
How you doing, friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
That's good.
Doing well. This is your first time listening. I'm your host, Kendra.
And I'm your host, Devon. Welcome to the Real Mama Pod.
Welcome. So what's crack-a-lacking, friend?
What's crack-a-lacking is we don't have a review.
Oh, no.
So, yes, I'm fussing. So if this is your first time listening, you're getting a good fussing today.
Oh, well, y'all better buckle up.
Buckle up. No, I'm joking. But no, seriously, we've been asking our listeners and viewers to write us a review so we can chart. So please do that. It's easy. All the DMs, all the texts, all the things that y'all do, copy and paste, put in a review. Too easy. We done.
Literally
But
copy
and paste. We love it. We love to read those messages because it keeps us going. Don't get me wrong. Still send those, but then copy and paste. 5-star, copy and paste, post.
Or how about this? Whatever you're going to text us, just head on over to Apple or Spotify, wherever you stream. Write that message and then screenshot it and send it to us. How about that?
That's a good idea. I like that. See, maybe you should start fussing.
No.
Because they're not listening to me. Good cop, bad cop.
Why
So
gotta be the bad
you always
cop?
the bad cop. Let's not play.
Whatever.
I have receipts on that.
Okay.
Okay.
You can be bad too, though.
It takes me a very long time. You come out the gate.
I come out quicker,
Yeah.
but you got it in you.
Yeah, I do have it in me. I do.
And I got good cop in me too.
Yeah. When I'm fed up and Kendra's a nice one, there's a problem. You should be concerned. You should be very concerned.
Because usually I'm like this. But no. So what's going on, friend? Besides the reviews that we need y'all to write.
Yes.
What's
yes.
cracking?
I think today we are talking about these kids.
Oh.
I think we don't really talk about our kids. That we talk about them around mamahood.
Yes.
And then we have stories about them, but how they're navigating in school.
And life.
And how they are showing out at these people's school. And how we articulating with staff and teachers and educators and their village at their schools of how to better help them in those environments. That's been difficult, but I think this conversation is needed because a lot of parents are going through this.
Yes.
Especially boy moms.
Yes.
Because I have my theories around boys in education, and we'll kind of talk about that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think this is a dialogue we need to have because
100%.
in my opinion, I'm in education. I think today's education is not necessarily designed for today's student.
100%.
And so we have to get creative on how we work with our kids at home and what that looks like in the classroom.
Yeah, and that's honestly not an easy journey. Like, there's already no manual to motherhood.
Right.
So now you have all these layers in motherhood. Our kids' education is one of those layers. And if you're not familiar with the education system outside of your own personal education,
experience.
But just having people like Devon, she works in education. I'm like, friend, I don't know what, like, I need you to explain this to me because X, Y, and Z. So like, I'm glad we're having this conversation because you never know who may need the resource.
Who may need the resource.
Who may need the conversation because
absolutely
it is not easy at all.
Yeah. I think it looks different for everyone and everybody's resources are different. So what I'm doing, somebody else may not be able to do, but if you consider it or you're thinking about it, even if your child is not school age, but having talks about what school looks like for your child, I think is very important to talk about and to think about, even if you're not there yet. Because even if you don't do the traditional public route, if you're thinking about private school or Montessori or homeschool, private school and Montessori, wait list now. So you need to go on that now. And then homeschool, like really what your curriculum look like. Is it competitive? Will your child thrive? Like what do they like? How are you going to make school, right?
Yeah.
Because there are some homeschool parents I be side-eyeing. And there's some homeschool parents I'm like, wow, you're really doing that.
Right.
I could
Where
never
can I
do
enroll
that.
my kid in your class?
Let's start here. I'm not bashing any school system because I know I cannot educate my child. I could barely do the 20 minutes that we do a day for education time. Okay. I'd be ready to. Okay. And I'm a trained professional, but when it comes to your own kid,
It's different.
Woo, I'm like, I know what that lady's talking about in the classroom. I just know because you're doing it here.
And there's just certain things that Jonathan has a strength in supporting Eli education-wise, and there are certain things that I do.
Yes.
So, and it's also a matter of like learning what type of kid you have and how they learn.
Yes.
Eli is an applied learner. So am I. I can't sit here and read and comprehend and then do it. I have to be doing it while you're telling me how to do it. And then that's how I learn. He's the same way.
Yeah.
He got to be up. He got to be moving. He got to be doing something. So we have to be engaging with him education-wise. And we'll get down the hole of how they're doing and things. But I want to say this about just being mindful and observing how your child learns. So, and also making sure you're having these conversations with the school. So I ran into the owner of Eli's school like 3-4 days ago. And she said, you know, Eli's been doing so much better in school. And I'm like, thank you, whatever. And stuff, whatever y'all doing at home, keep doing it, blah, blah, blah. So I said, thank you. She said, I also see like my child in Eli. Like my kid, he likes to be up, moving, doing things. And every kid is different. Like she's saying these things. She's like, every kid learns differently. You have to adjust and adapt to how that kid learns. And I said, thank you for knowing that. Because some teachers, some principals, some school owners, they say there's something wrong with your kid.
Absolutely.
And you need to go and X, Y, and Z. This is all we can do. Whatever. She could have just said, you know, I hope y'all just continue to do what you're doing. Like, we're not going to do anything on our part, but y'all do everything at home and we'll see how Eli thrives. But she was intentional about sharing that every kid learns differently. And we respect that and we understand that and we adjust, we adapt. That's what we're supposed to do. So I want to shout out, I ain't going to say Eli's school name, but I want to shout out the owner of his school. She know who she is.
Yeah. We had a similar pivot because now we're like, not at the beginning of the school year anymore, but Drew was showing his behind. Like he ain't having no home training, okay? And so we got a similar message, and we'll talk about the things Drew was doing and how we pivoted from those things and how we turn these negative behaviors into positives. Didn't happen overnight. But we got a message from the teacher, and he has 2 teachers, which I'm thankful for, in the classroom. And the one that was more like on him and telling me everything, she also messaged me and was like, whatever you guys are doing, please continue to do it and please share so that way we can replicate what you guys are doing in the classroom.
Absolutely.
And so when we had open house, okay? Open house is supposed to be just kind of chill. You come in, they talk about the program, the trajectory of the school, what they're doing, how they're raising funds, all this other stuff, okay? Then we have time in the classroom, right? So we walk in the classroom. I immediately noticed that Drew's chair and desk is in the front of the classroom. Me being a psychologist, I'm like, oh, that's our intervention. He is cutting up in this lady's class, okay? So I'm like, okay, let's see, kind of look at his work, fully know what Drew is capable of doing, right? Work half done. Color, he loves to color and draw and things. I mean, it's scribble scrabble. It looks like a 1-year-old did this work, okay? And I'm like, okay. See, he's not really putting effort in his work. Okay, cool. So let me talk to the teacher. So the lead teacher, she was busy. All the parents line up to her. So I said, okay, let me talk to the other teacher who is coming from a public school setting, who also has a special education background. So I'm like, okay, we can kind of talk the same language. So I said, how is Drew doing? She's like, oh, you know, Drew's being Drew. I was like, what does that mean? Like, I need to know what that means. She's like, well, he's having some difficulty focusing and just like not trying. And I saw that in his work. She's like, he's also the class clown. Like, he's always trying to make people laugh. And I was really shocked that he knew how to read because he always say he doesn't know how to do it. And I'm like, this boy is reading. Like, you know that. So I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay. And she was like, yeah, his sleeves is always an issue. Oh, he's got a shirt in his sleeve. He's lifting up his shirt. He's just always trying to make people laugh. And I was like, well, he got it honest from his dad.
And grandpa.
For those who don't know Jared, he always got in trouble in school too. So Jared got paddled
at this
school.
point. The listeners know Jared.
Yeah, he got paddled in school. You're not supposed to. In our generation, nobody should be getting paddled, but he got paddled. That's how bad it was. Okay, they tried to put him on Ritalin, but Jared's daddy, that boy need Ritalin, he need his butt beat.
He didn't say but.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm getting the picture. She's telling me the behavior. So now I know what to work with at home, because when I email her on a little app, I'm like, hey, how's Drew doing? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, he's fine. He seems to be adjusting well. It wasn't all this. So I'm thinking Drew is doing fine. So I had to reflect as a parent. So I'm like, okay, this is Drew's third school since we moved from Georgia to Florida. So he did kindergarten in Georgia and then in Florida, and then we pulled him out to this private school. And so I'm like, okay, that's an adjustment. These kids, it's a smaller environment where they knew each other since birth until now. So yes, he's going to be the class clown because he's trying to make friends. He's trying to fit in. Another thing I realized is that Drew is one of the youngest kids in the class because a lot of parents decided to retain the kid. So they did VPK or kindergarten, I think, twice. Okay. So, of course, compared to a 7-year-old, his behaviors are going to look different. And some of them been 7, not turning 7, like been 7 for a full.
Yeah.
You know, so so that's a drastic change when you're looking at him. Second thing is, yes, she saw the sleeves thing as being like a misbehavior, but my baby was cold. He's like me. And I'm not making excuses, but you have to be realistic. You have to look at the behaviors and see, okay, where can I put things in place for him?
Did they ask him if he was cold?
No, they did not, but I did, because I know Drew. At home, he's cold. So I'm like, Drew, and I put a sweatshirt in his book bag so he can have access to it. He said he didn't know it was in there. So that's one way to solve this sleeve problem. So I was like, Drew, are you cold in the classroom? He's like, yeah, I'm cold. I was like, you need to put your sweatshirt on every day at school. So now Jared makes sure he puts it on before he drops him off. And then we started positive talks. Like, we were reflective. Like, Drew, we already did affirmations, but really honing in. I am a leader. I am not a follower. I choose where I get to sit. I will focus and pay attention to my teacher. And one thing about their school is they have a lot of movement. So it's not the issue. They have a whole tree house in the classroom, but because Drew was not following the rules, he didn't have access to the treehouse. Okay, now he got his access back. He in treehouse now. But just really communicating with the teachers and not being defensive, because at first I was like, what? Drew has never been a problem, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, okay, as a parent, how can I help my child?
Right.
How can I work with these teachers to really help my baby and really truly see who he is? Because they don't know he's new here. So they may see him like as this problem kid. Not that I'm saying that they said this from the public school. And I'm like, I don't want you to have that reputation. Like, you're a very bright boy. You are smart. Show them you know how to read. Like, you can be funny at recess. Circle time, focus, eye on the teacher. Take your time when you're writing your assignments. You know how to do these things. They said it saw a drastic change. All his papers came back graded. Everything is completed. Like, but it just really took the time of having that conversation with the teacher. And at first I was just like, dang.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard to hear that. And I'm like, he really up here.
Showing his ass.
Showing out at these people's school that we pay money for him to be at.
Yes. Yeah, Eli was Eli also can have the tendency to be the class clown. I don't really know where he gets that from, because Jonathan's funny in a sarcastic type of way. Like, you'll say something and it's like, what'd you just say?
Yeah.
I am just me. Sometimes me being who I am is just funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know where he gets this silly class clown behavior from. Have no clue. But he's had his bouts with that. Eli's problem is focusing. Like, he is easily distracted.
Same.
And we've had to talk to him about, we're going to focus today. We are a leader, not a follower. Because he has some other little friends in the class. And it's like, when one gets riled up, all of them, it was like 3 buddies. One starts, the other 2 are right behind him. And we are not followers. We don't do that. We lead by example. So we really had to ingrain that in him every morning and every night. It's a part of our get ready to go to school routine, and it's a part of our go to bed, because you're going to go to bed thinking and knowing that you are a leader, so that when you wake up, you're ready to lead the day, you know? So we had to do a lot of that with Eli too. But also being open to hearing the feedback from the teachers. That is not easy. I don't want nobody telling me about my kid, especially if they're not behaving in a way that we also feel is socially acceptable, because that's another conversation. Just because my kid has a lot of energy doesn't mean that something's wrong with him. That's just the way he is, you know, and that's okay. But again, another conversation. But we had to really be open to hearing that feedback, and then seeing like pockets at home where we can just kind of help massage those areas a little bit. Like, Eli, you're having a hard time with writing your letters, which writing is not an easy task, or it's not an easy technique, whatever you want to call it. But we had to spend time at home practicing that with him, but doing it in a way that he enjoys. So like, he has his dry erase easel board. He's doing his sight words. He likes sight words. So let's write our sight words. You like the word to? Write to on the board. Wrote to, use it in a sentence. You know, like, these are things that he likes to do. So incorporating that at home, but also including some play in that.
Yeah.
You have a lot of energy. If you get this right, you can run a lap around the living room if you want, and I won't stop you.
Also, too, a lot of positive reinforcement. So a lot of times when we hear things from teachers, we want to take. Oh, well, you're not going to go outside. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. They're not going to respond to that. So what I told Drew was, and screen time is just like this thing, right? But I'm like, okay, he responds to his iPad. So usually we don't allow the kids to have their iPad only in the car. That's the only time they can have the iPad. And so I'm like, you can earn 5 minutes on your iPad if you do XYZ. If your teacher, if I get a good report from your teacher, you can get 5 additional minutes on your iPad at home. So utilizing the things that you have in your home already that they enjoy helps them, because they know they can earn it. They have opportunities to earn ice cream on Fridays. So Jay right now is not, I hope he stays that way.
Chef's kiss.
No problem in school. He's willing to learn. He's a leader. I got the most heartfelt message from a parent. She texted me and she was like, hey, I know we don't know each other very well, but I just want to say thank you to you and Jay, because he stood up for my son. Someone was bullying him, and he told me Jay protected him.
All right, Jay.
My baby. And so I was so proud in that moment, because we do teach them to be kind to everyone, no matter what they look like, even if they're different, even if they have disabilities. And that's one thing I can say. My boys are phenomenal at that. And they're always kind to people who are different. I feel like that I'm going to take credit for that, because that is my specialty. Even the line of work that I do, and I think it kind of spills over to them. But to hear that type of message from a parent was like so rewarding.
It's like they're actually, despite how they act at home, they're listening, they're watching,
and they're putting into action. And it's like, so when they actually do it, it's just like, yes, it's working, even if it happens one time. Or for example, when we're doing like the affirmations, ours is, I am brave, I'm strong, I'm smart, I can be anything I want to be.
I can do all things.
Drew, it was either Drew or Jay, they were scared to go upstairs. They turn the light on and I hear them repeating the affirmation, I am brave. And I'm just like, okay, something is
it's clicking.
Something is penetrated through that brain. So even if you're a mom out there who's getting a ton of reports about your child's behavior, one, it's kind of normal at this age, unfortunately. Two, like, harp on the good things. I know we could feel defeated when it comes to hearing those things, especially from an outside person. Like Kendra and I shared before, we don't even like hearing negative things about our kids from their dads, let alone a teacher. So
anybody
it's just like,
outside of me.
Outside of me, I can complain about them all I want. But you talk about my kid, like, I feel attacked.
I'm taking that too, right.
So listen to it with open ears and know your kid, right? Because it was one thing that I had to check the teacher on, because she's like, he just loves Spider-Man. I said, and do. We know that. My baby been Miles Morales since he was 4 months, and I'm not taking that away from him. And part of the program is to be creative, right? They thrive off creativity. You don't have to be like the traditional school, right? But then you're telling me that he likes Spider-Man too much. Like, no, you're not going to say that to me, because Drew wanted Spider-Man to be a part of the family tree. Okay. And she was like, well, you know, I do understand his love for Spider-Man, but like, to say Spider-Man is part of your family tree, I don't know. And I was like, no, Spider-Man can be a part of our family tree. You're talking about creativity, okay? And he's being creative in this moment, and that is something I'm not going to back down from. However, the other things we can work on. And so I'm like, we're not going to nitpick every little thing that Drew does. We're not going to do that. We're still going to let him be his person, because they're only this small and has this imagination for so long before the world tells them this is not okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let him imagine as long as he wants to.
And be a kid.
Yeah, and be a kid. So yes, Miles Morales is a part of our family. And who gonna check me, boo?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And sometimes you have to have those conversations with the teachers. It's like everything that you're saying, or most of the things that you're saying, I agree with, completely accurate. And you're also like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, you can't pick every single thing that is an issue. Like, I'm not gonna do that to you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, like everything that's an issue with you.
Yeah.
But like, this is a whole journey, I guess, in motherhood that we're just getting started. Like, Eli is not even in kindergarten yet.
Right.
Jay and Eli are in pre-K 4. Drew is, in first grade, but it's like they're just getting started. And I've had to tell Eli, like, he'll wake up in the morning, I don't want to go to school. I said, bro, you ain't even got to kindergarten yet. You still got K through 12. And then you got, if you choose to go to college, which praying, FAMU, but you still got K through 12. You got to get up. And you got a lot more school to learn. Yeah. But the thing is, he loves to learn. I think Eli is the type of kid that doesn't like to learn in a traditional setting.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to the point that you made earlier in the conversation about today's education system is not set up for today's kids. They're not.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to learn that too. Like, again, I say this all the time. I have to unlearn a lot of the ways that I was brought up.
Yeah.
And the way that school was just like stamped and you got to do it this way and do it that way and do what the teacher said. It's okay to learn differently.
Yeah.
It's okay to take those concepts, but apply them in a way that fits for me.
Yeah.
And I'm having to learn that with Eli. Like, the way I learn is a lot similar, but there are some things that we're different in.
Yeah.
And I have to be mindful with that and okay with that, because sometimes we have to tell ourselves that it's okay that he or she is not doing this the way that you want them to do it. Like, they have to do it with what works best for them.
Yes, every kid is
and
not
on their own
sit,
time too.
Sit down
sometimes.
and do work. They might need to wiggle. They might need a weighted blanket on their legs. They might need a special chair where they could wiggle and it's okay. They might need a special pencil or whatever the case may be. We have to be open to that.
And that's where Jonathan has actually come in for me, because again, I was raised differently. Me and Jonathan were raised completely differently, but he's also raising Eli different than how he was raised. And I think this goes a lot into just his training. Like, he's like, maybe this could help Eli. Yeah. So he bought him like a little wiggle, like something that we can add to the seat. And when he gets antsy, he can just use this, or just like fidgets that he can use if he's whatever, like something to keep him occupied while also allowing him to focus on whatever the task is. Yeah. But we've also learned that, and this is not even a learning, because me and Jonathan are the same way. We do things on our own time. Like, you can't just say, go do this. I hear you, but I'm gonna do it when I'm ready. Like, that's just how me and John, that's how we are. But Eli's the same way. So like, he'll go and pick up his workbook and just start working. And we didn't say, Eli, go get your workbook, nothing. He just picks it up and he'll go sit and he'll do his workbook. And I'm like, dang, good job, son. Like, we didn't even have to tell you that. It's just that something that he wanted to do at that time. Yeah. So I'm also learning that, like, when we get straight home, it's not school time.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Right when we get home.
I don't agree with that.
We got to let it, because at first I was doing that. I'm like, we get in the house, put your bag down, you got a snack on the way home, let's do some education time, and then whatever. Yeah. But I had to learn that Eli does not work that way. He needs the rest, the mental rest. And I don't blame him. Yeah. I don't want to go to work all day, come home, and then go back to work again. I need that mental break. Yeah. So I had to learn that and say, you know what, Eli, I'm going to follow your lead. Yeah. And sometimes he will come in the house and say, let's get my board and do sight words or whatever. So I've had to learn how to also allow him to lead this educational journey for us.
Same.
Not just me and Jonathan.
Yeah. Because they do school all day, right? So by the time they get to us, it's like, okay, they need that break. And then 2, we want to make it fun, and we just want to reinforce what they're doing in the classroom. So they don't need no more than 20 minutes anyway. A lot of schools are not even assigning homework anymore because of some research. So like even if your student is not being, or your child is not being successful in a classroom setting, and you want to reinforce things at home, that's totally okay. But give them 20 minutes and y'all build on that. Start from the basics and wherever they're lacking, and you work on that. But don't like drill and practice, because then you're forcing them to do something they already don't like, and then they grow a hate for school. And now that's a whole nother conversation, right? So you want it to be fun, and you just want to kind of be that reinforcer, but you don't want to just like drill and practice. So we do something similar. We come home, they change their clothes, and then they have a break. And then once the timer goes off, then Jay is like, because Drew is reading, Jay really wants to learn how to read. And so it's so cute because Drew is teaching him how to add and do. So it's certain things I don't have to do anymore, but Drew teaching Jay is making Drew stronger. Yeah. And then Jay is getting the skills, and he's learning in a way that it's working out. You just got to kind of set that foundation, but it's definitely hard to have those conversations. If your child is misbehaving in school, they're not the only one, because sometimes we feel like that, like, dang, it's my kid that's acting up. But Drew told me, I made a good decision today. I sat by this student versus this student because I know this student distracts me. Great. I need you to make those choices
every day.
If you can. Try. And I know you're going to make mistakes. And if he's honest about sitting out for exploration time, if he's honest, there's no punishment for right now, because we are still trying to build that trust of being able to tell us everything. Yeah. Even though we want to discipline him because we want him to listen, we don't want him to be afraid to tell us stuff. Yeah. So right now it's no consequence. But if it keeps happening, and exploration time is only like 15 minutes and he has to sit out for like 5, and this is like they break in the classroom to explore. But if he keeps it up, I don't know.
And the thing is, like, kids are so, while they have their moments where they're not fully honest, they're very honest in life. Yesterday, Eli got in trouble because he just kept messing with me, and Jonathan got on him. And Jonathan is good about making sure that you acknowledge what you did and apologize, or say why you're apologizing. So Eli came to me. He said, "Mommy, I'm sorry." And then so Jonathan was like, "What are you sorry for, Eli?" "For doing what I want to do." Because I'm always telling him, stop doing what you want to do. But I need to explain, like, what is it that you're doing that you're not supposed to be doing? So again, me parenting, learning curves here. But he was for doing what I want to do. Yeah. I said, okay, baby, you were doing what you wanted to do, which was hitting mommy at the time. Yeah. Like playfully hitting, not trying to aggressively, let me clear that up, aggressively hit me, but just playing. I didn't want to play. Yeah. I don't want to play. Yeah, that's fair.
Well, you're doing a good job handling the school stuff.
You too, friend.
Listen,
you too.
Listen, it's hard. And it's hard when you have to be, like, when you're in education, but then you have to switch it and put your parent hat on and not be what you are at work. It's hard. Yeah. And then it's like, dang, I got this role at my work, and then you sitting up here acting like this. Like, you supposed to be. One, I just feel like we have a stigma against us because Jared's in the military, right? So it's like, oh, I know your dad don't play. I know you straight and narrow. It's like, nah, not quite.
Well, honestly, friend, if you didn't do early intervention, I'm learning my words between her and Jonathan. If you didn't do early intervention, then Jared would have been I don't play, because that's how he was raised. He is also a military man. I get it, because me and Jared grew up in the same type of house. And we have a lot of similarities, because I can be like, I'm not playing with you too, because that's how I was raised. But between you and Jonathan intervening, it's working.
And that's Jared every time. He's like, you know why they acting like that, right? They don't get spanked. I'm just like, that is not why, sir. They're acting like that because it's age appropriate. Yeah. Like, let's look at them for their age. They're not 16 acting like this. They're 4 and 6. So give them some grace. Yeah. And they just don't respond to hitting. Yeah. You have to know your kid. Some kids, I guess that works for. My kids, it does not. So
yeah, I don't think so. While I can be very stern, I'm not like, I'm about to beat your behind. Like, that's not. Now, I do believe in pop. Pop. but not like I'm about to get the belt.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Like that is abuse. But I feel like the balance in the house. Like sometimes you gotta be stern and like don't play with me or whatever the consequence may be. But again, that balance, having the emotional intelligence and the understanding and applying that in discipline, if that makes sense, is key. But also sometimes you gotta reel them in.
Okay. What are we drinking for Mama Juice?
We're drinking.
Now that you reeling things in.
I know, it's reeling in. So for those of you who are listening for the first time, Mama Juice is my baby on the show. It is a drink that is curated for the episode. And today's curated drink is fresh from the earth. It is water. Because we have had a long week. We're hydrating ourselves, our mental, our physical, our emotional. And this water is actually really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's tasty.
I love me a nice cold glass of water.
Yeah.
And I'm loving this Mama Juice today.
Okay. All right. That brings us to Mama's Corner. So if this is your first time listening, Mama's Corner is my favorite segment. So this is our opportunity to connect to our guests, if we have some, each other, and our listeners. So you have an opportunity to write us at therealmamapod.com. I check those emails every day. And either we are answer a question or we're reflective. And so we did have a question. I'm not going to read it word for word because we don't have an iPad today. My fault, not anybody else's. But we had a question about nighttime routines and putting your children to sleep. A lot of moms are struggling with this. And so she wanted some tips around nighttime.
Okay.
So for us, what works, I realize as being a boy mom, getting energy out for my kids is vital. And so this is like, may make them run a lap around our loop before they go to bed. They have outside time, those type of things. If it's raining, we'll do like a pillow fight or we'll run the stairs just so they get the energy out for them. Because sometimes they could be overtired, or sometimes they're not tired enough. And so that's why they're not going to sleep, in my opinion, for my kids. So we'll do those things and then kind of like to chill out the night. They know they need to brush their teeth, use the bathroom. We end with a story and prayers, and then it's night to night to you too. And that's all I got for you.
So a little similar to Devon. Eli's also one of those kids that I got to get energy out. So if we're doing something in the house, we have these little like turtles that he can hop around to, like with different colors. So it helps him just kind of jump around, be silly, do whatever he needs to do to get all the giggles out. But also we've had to learn what time Eli needs to go to bed. And the outcome of that is measured on the next morning, how he's acting. Not only in the morning, but at school too. If he's in bed by 7:30, 7:45, sleep by 8:15, marvelous day the next day. If he's in bed at 8:15, going to sleep at 8:30, usually cuts up the next day. And usually he may have an accident too. So being mindful of what time you need to put your kid to bed for success the next day. And then also same routine, bath. He knows, take him a bath, or now he's brushing his teeth first. Then he's taking his shower. He takes showers now. He picks out his PJs, puts them on in the bed. We do our made up story time now. Like me, Jonathan, and Eli will make up a portion of a story. We do our affirmations. Jonathan does a poem with him. I do prayer, and then we close it out. So yeah, getting that energy out. Starting your nighttime routine, and also being mindful of what time you need to put your kid to bed.
That was a good one. Good one. Yeah, they can't. If you go over that bedtime, it's just rough.
It's rough for everybody.
Rough for everybody.
Teachers and kids included. So
yeah. Well, we hope you found this helpful, because typically we don't do episodes like this, but we, at the end of the day, we're real moms going through real things just like you guys, and we struggle with these kids just like y'all. So yeah, I think we should do this more often, just giving people a lens of what it looks like for us, because a lot of times people think we're so put together and we're not.
No, that's why we have the Real Mama Pod. This is the real. There's no sugarcoating anything.
They kicking our honeys too. They are. Absolutely. Well, until next time, mamas. Bye.